Welcome, gentle listener, to Boring Medieval Myths for Sleep tonight. You are invited to leave behind the noise and hurry of the modern world and step softly into the misty, lantern-lit lanes of medieval Europe. Here, in a time before clocks and engines, the world moved at the pace of the seasons, and stories were as much a part of life as bread and water. Imagine yourself in a small, thatched cottage, the fire crackling low, the air scented with wood smoke and fresh bread. Outside, the night is quiet, save for the distant hoot of an owl and the soft rustle of wind in the trees. In this world, stories are told not to thrill or frighten, but to pass the time, to comfort, and to gently puzzle the mind. These are the myths and legends that drifted through the villages and towns of medieval Europe's and strange, some wondrous, and many simply odd or unexplained. Tonight I will share with you a collection of such tales. Each one is a gentle journey into the past, a soft echo of a world where the line between truth and legend was as thin as the morning mist. Let your mind wander, your body relax, and your eyes grow heavy as we begin our journey with the first story, The Legend of the Green Children of Woolpit. Our story begins in the gentle countryside of Suffolk, England, in the 12th century. The village of Woolpit is a quiet place, named for the wolf pits dug nearby deep holes meant to trap the wild wolves that sometimes threatened the sheep. The village itself is a cluster of thatched cottages, a stone church, and winding lanes lined with hedgerows. Life here is simple and slow. The villagers rise with the sun, tend their flocks, and gather in the evenings to share news and stories by the fire. Let us imagine a day in Woolpit. The sun rises slowly over the fields, painting the sky with soft pink and gold. The air is cool and fresh, carrying the scent of dew and wildflowers. In the cottages, families stir from their sleep. The fire is coaxed back to life, and the first meal of the day is prepared coarse bread, a little cheese, perhaps a cup of warm ale. Children help with chores, feeding chickens and gathering eggs, while the older folk prepare to work in the fields. The village is alive with gentle sounds, the clatter of wooden pails, the lowing of cattle, the distant ringing of the church bell. The blacksmith's hammer rings out from his forge, and the baker's chimney sends up a plume of fragrant smoke. Life is not easy, but it is steady and familiar, marked by the turning of the seasons and the rhythm of the land. It is on a warm summer day, as the villagers are working in the fields, that something unusual happens. The sun is high, the air is filled with the scent of wildflowers and the gentle hum of bees. The wheat sways in the breeze, and the distant sound of sheep bells drifts across the meadows. Suddenly, from the edge of the woods, two children appear, a boy and a girl. They are not like any children the villagers have seen before. Their clothes are made of a strange, unfamiliar material, and their skin is a curious shade of green, like the leaves of the trees in spring. The children seem frightened and confused. They do not speak the language of the villagers, and they shy away from the adults who approach them. The villagers, though puzzled, are kind. They bring the children into the village, offer them food and water, and try to make them comfortable. The children look around with wide, wondering eyes, taking in the sights and sounds of the village. At first, the children refuse all food, turning away from bread and meat. Days pass, and the villagers grow worried. The children grow weaker, their green faces pale with hunger. Then, one day, someone brings in a basket of freshly picked beans. The children's eyes light up, and they eagerly eat the beans, raw and fresh from the pod. For a time, beans are all they will eat. The villagers, relieved, make sure to keep the children supplied with beans, and slowly the children regain their strength. As the weeks go by, the children begin to adapt. The villagers teach them a few words, and the children learn to eat other foods. As the months pass, the green color fades from their skin, and they begin to look more like the other children of the village. The boy is quiet and shy, often clinging to his sister, while the girl is curious and quick to learn. The villagers are curious about where the children came from. When the children have learned enough of the language, they tell a strange story. They say they came from a land where the sun never shone, and everything was dim and green. They lived underground, in a place where the light was like twilight, and the people were all green like themselves. One day, while tending their father's cattle, they heard a loud noise, and suddenly found themselves in the wolf pits near Woolpit. They wandered out, lost and afraid, until the villagers found them. No one knows what to make of this story. Some say the children came from a hidden world beneath the earth, a place of perpetual twilight. Others think they were simply lost, their green color the result of a strange diet or illness. The village priest listens carefully and writes down their tale, but even he cannot explain it. Over time, the boy grows weak and dies, despite the villagers' care. The girl, however, survives. She learns the ways of the village, helps with chores, and eventually is baptized and given the name Agnes. She grows into a young woman, and in time, she marries a local man. The story of her arrival is told and retold, becoming a gentle mystery that lingers in the village for generations. The legend of the green children of Woolpit is never fully explained. It remains a quiet puzzle, a story told by the fireside on long winter nights. Some say it is a tale of kindness to strangers, a reminder that even the most unusual visitors deserve compassion. Others see it as a gentle warning that the world is full of things we do not understand, and that sometimes the best response is simply to offer a helping hand. As you listen to this old, puzzling story, let your mind wander to the quiet fields of medieval England. Imagine the gentle rustle of the wind in the trees, the distant bleating of sheep, and the soft glow of the evening sun. Picture the villagers, gathered in the fading light, sharing stories and laughter as the day comes to a close. Let us linger a while in the village, as the day turns to evening. The sun sinks low, casting long shadows across the fields. The villagers return from their work, their faces tired but content. The air is filled with the scent of supper stew, simmering over the fire, fresh bread cooling on the table. Families gather in their cottages, sharing the events of the day and planning for tomorrow. Outside, the world grows quiet. The last light fades from the sky, and the stars begin to appear one by one. The church bell tolls softly, marking the end of another day. In the distance, an owl calls from the woods, and a fox slips silently through the hedgerow. Inside the cottages, the fire burns low. Children curl up on straw mattresses, their eyes heavy with sleep. The adults sit by the hearth, mending clothes or carving wooden spoons, their hands moving slowly in the flickering light. The stories of the day are told and retold, each one a thread in the tapestry of village life. The story of the green children is one of many. It is a gentle reminder that the world is full of mysteries, and that sometimes the best we can do is to welcome the unknown with kindness and curiosity. As you drift toward sleep, let the story fade into the background, a soft echo of a time when the world was slower and the line between myth and reality was as thin as the morning mist. In this world of simple mysteries and gentle wonder, you can rest easy, knowing that not every question needs an answer. The story of the green children of Woolpit drifts through the centuries, a quiet puzzle that invites us to dream. Let the fire burn low, the night grow deep, and your mind wander gently through the fields and lanes of medieval England. The myths and legends of the past are waiting, ready to carry you softly into sleep. As the embers glow and the village settles into silence, we prepare to leave Woolpit behind and wander onward to the next gentle legend of the medieval world, tale whispered in the shadowy woods where knights sleep beneath the moss and roots, waiting for a world that may one day need them again. But before we leave, let us pause and imagine the gentle routines of the village as night deepens. The baker rises before dawn, kneading dough by candlelight, the scent of yeast and flour filling the air. The blacksmith, his hands rough and strong, shapes iron into tools and horseshoes, his forge glowing like a second sun. The shepherd, wrapped in a woolen cloak, leads his flock to pasture, his dog trotting faithfully at his side. The children play in the lanes, their laughter echoing like birdsong, while the elders sit in the shade, sharing stories of days long past. The seasons turn, and with them, the life of the village changes. In spring, the fields are sown with barley and wheat, the earth soft and fragrant beneath the plow. In summer, the meadows bloom with wildflowers, and the air hums with bees. Autumn brings the harvest, golden and abundant, and winter wraps the village in a quiet hush, the snow muffling every sound. Through it all, the story of the green children endures a gentle mystery, a reminder that even in the most ordinary places, the extraordinary can appear. Perhaps, as you drift into sleep, you will dream of green-skinned children wandering through sunlit fields, their laughter mingling with the wind, their story carried on the breeze. Good night, gentle listener. May your dreams be filled with the soft wonders of the past, and may you find rest in the quiet embrace of myth and memory. As the gentle night deepens over the village, our journey continues. The embers in the hearth glow softly, and the world outside is wrapped in a hush. Let us leave behind the familiar cottages and fields, and wander into the shadowy heart of the medieval forest, a place where legends sleep as quietly as the moss beneath the trees. In the old days, every village had its stories about the woods. The forest was a place of both fear and wonder, a realm where the ordinary rules of life seemed to fade away. By day, the woods were full of bird song and dappled sunlight, but by night, they became a world of secrets. It was said that the trees themselves could whisper, and that the wind carried the voices of those long gone. Tonight, we follow a path that winds deep into the heart of such a forest, where a legend as old as memory itself is said to rest. This is the tale of the silent nights of the sleeping wood. The story begins on the edge of a small village, nestled close to the ancient trees. The villagers here live in quiet respect of the forest, gathering firewood only from fallen branches and never venturing too far beneath the thick canopy. Children are warned not to stray from the paths, and even the bravest hunters keep to the edges. For the heart of the wood is a place of mystery. It is said that, long ago, when the world was younger and the land was troubled by war and sorrow, a band of noble knights rode into the forest. They were weary from battle, their armor dented, and their banners torn. The people of the land had suffered much, and the knights had fought bravely to protect them. But the time came when their strength was spent, and they sought a place to rest. The knights rode beneath the ancient oaks, their horses moving quietly over the mossy ground. The air was cool and still, and shafts of sunlight filtered through the leaves, painting the forest floor with gold and green. At last, they came to a clearing, where a great stone stood in the center, half covered in ivy and lichen. Here, the knights dismounted and knelt in a circle around the stone. According to the legend, the knights laid down their swords and shields and bowed their heads in silent prayer. They asked the spirits of the wood for peace, not just for themselves, but for all the people of the land. As they prayed, a gentle sleep fell over them, and one by one, they closed their eyes and drifted into dreams. The forest, it is said, took pity on the weary knights. The trees bent their branches to shelter them, and the moss grew thick and soft beneath their resting forms. The birds and animals of the wood kept watch, and the wind sang lullabies through the leaves. The knights slept on, untouched by time, their armor slowly covered by leaves and earth. Their banners faded to threads. Generations passed, and the world outside the forest changed. New villages rose and fell. Kings and queens came and went, but the silent knights remained, hidden in their circle of sleep. Sometimes, on quiet nights, a villager wandering too close to the heart of the wood might hear the faint sound of armor clinking, or catch a glimpse of a silver helm beneath the ferns. But no one dared disturb the sleeping knights, for it was said that they would only awaken if the land was in great need. The legend grew with each telling. Some said the knights would rise again if the village was ever threatened by darkness. Others believed that the knights' dreams kept the forest safe, their silent vigil holding back the shadows. Children would leave small offerings at the edge of the wood, wildflowers, acorns, or a piece of bread, in hopes of earning the knight's protection. On midsummer nights, when the moon was full and the air was thick with the scent of honeysuckle, the villagers would gather at the forest's edge. They would light lanterns and sing old songs, their voices drifting through the trees. It was a gentle celebration, a way of honoring the silent guardians who slept beneath the moss. Let us imagine such a night. The village is aglow with lantern light, and the air is warm and sweet. Families gather in the meadow, spreading blankets on the grass. Children chase fireflies, their laughter mingling with the music of flutes and fiddles. The elders tell stories of the silent nights, their voices low and reverent. As the night deepens, a hush falls over the gathering. The villagers look toward the dark line of the forest, their faces lit by the soft glow of the lanterns. For a moment, it seems as if the trees themselves are listening, their branches swaying gently in the breeze. Somewhere in the distance, an owl calls, and the villagers feel a sense of peace. In the heart of the wood, the knights sleep on. Their dreams are said to be filled with memories of sunlight on armor, the laughter of children, and the quiet beauty of the land they loved. The forest keeps its secrets, and the world outside moves on, but the legend endures. Sometimes, a traveler passing through the village will ask about the silent nights. The villagers will smile and point to the woods, their eyes shining with quiet pride. They are still there, they say, watching over us, even as they sleep. The story of the silent nights of the sleeping wood is not one of battles or glory, but of rest and gentle hope. It is a reminder that even the bravest hearts need time to heal, and that sometimes the greatest gift we can give is the promise of peace. As you listen to this legend, let your mind wander through the cool, green shadows of the forest. Imagine the soft rustle of leaves, the dappled sunlight on the moss, and the silent circle of nights resting beneath the ancient trees. Let the story wrap around you like a cloak, soothing and calm as you drift toward sleep. The world of medieval myth is full of such gentle wonders, stories that comfort and reassure even as they puzzle and enchant. The silent nights sleep on, their dreams a quiet blessing for all who live in the shadow of the wood. As the night deepens and the lanterns are extinguished, the villagers return to their cottages, their hearts light and their minds at ease. The forest stands silent, its secrets safe for another day. Let us linger a while longer in the peaceful hush of the sleeping wood. The air is cool and fragrant, filled with the scent of earth and leaves. The moon rises high above the trees, casting silver patterns on the ground. Somewhere nearby, a deer steps softly through the undergrowth, pausing to listen before moving on. In the distance, the village settles into sleep. The fires burn low, and the only sounds are the gentle breathing of those who dream. The silent nights keep their watch, their presence a comfort to all who know their story. As you drift deeper into rest, remember that the world is full of quiet guardians, seen and unseen, who watch over us as we sleep. The legends of the past are never far away, their gentle wisdom waiting to be discovered anew. And so, with the blessing of the silent nights, we leave the sleeping wood behind and journey onward to the next. Gentle myth of the medieval world, a tale of water and wonder where a mysterious creature brings hope to those who wander lost. But before we leave the forest behind, let us imagine the daily life that surrounds these ancient trees. In the early morning, the mist hangs low over the ground, and the dew sparkles on every blade of grass. The villagers rise quietly, careful not to disturb the peace of the woods. Some gather mushrooms and wild herbs at the edge of the trees, their baskets filling with the gifts of the forest. Others tend to their gardens, planting beans and cabbages in the soft earth. The children play near the stream, their laughter echoing through the glen. Sometimes they pretend to be knights themselves, fashioning wooden swords and shields, and marching in a line through the tall grass. They tell each other stories of the silent nights, imagining what dreams might fill the minds of those who sleep beneath the moss. In the evenings, the village gathers for supper. The air is filled with the scent of roasting meat and fresh bread. Families sit together, sharing stories and songs as the sun sets behind the trees. The elders speak of the old days, when the knights first came to the forest, and the children listen with wide eyes. As darkness falls, the lanterns are lit, and the village glows with a gentle light. The people of the village know that they are watched over, not just by the knights, but by the spirit of the forest itself. They give thanks for the peace that surrounds them, and for the quiet strength that comes from knowing they are not alone. The silent nights remain, a gentle presence in the heart of the wood, their story woven into the fabric of village life. And so, as you drift toward sleep, let your mind rest in the cool shade of the ancient trees. Imagine the soft touch of moss beneath your feet, the whisper of leaves overhead, and the silent circle of nights dreaming their endless dreams. The world outside may change, but here in the sleeping wood, peace endures. May your dreams be gentle, and may you wake refreshed, ready to greet the dawn with a quiet heart. As the first light of dawn touches the treetops, and the village slowly stirs from its slumber, our journey through the world of medieval myth continues. The air is cool and fresh, carrying the scent of dew and wildflowers from the meadows beyond. The woods, the gentle hush of the forest lingers, a reminder of the silent nights who keep their watch beneath the moss and roots. Today, we turn our steps toward the rolling hills and sparkling streams of Wales, where another legend waits to be told. This is the story of the kindly water leaper, a creature of water and wonder, whose presence brings hope to those who wander, lost. In the heart of Wales, the land is shaped by rivers and lakes, their waters winding through green valleys and rocky hills. The people who live here know the ways of the water well. They fish in the streams, gather reeds from the marshes, and tell stories of the creatures who dwell beneath the surface. Some of these tales are warnings, meant to keep children from straying too close to deep pools or fast currents. Others are gentler, filled with a sense of mystery and quiet awe. Among these stories is the legend of the water leaper, known in Welsh as Lamhygen y Dwar. In some tales, the water leaper is a fearsome beast, leaping from the water to snatch unwary travelers. But in the quiet corners of the countryside, another version of the story is told, a version where the water leaper is not a monster, but a gentle guardian of the streams. Let us imagine a small village nestled beside a wide, slow-moving river. The cottages are built of stone and thatch, their gardens bright with herbs and flowers. The river is the heart of the village, its waters providing fish, fresh water, and a place for children to play on warm afternoons. The villagers know the river well, and they treat it with respect, never taking more than they need, and always giving thanks for its gifts. On the far side of the river, the land rises into a low hill, crowned with a ring of ancient stones. It is said that, on certain nights, the stones glow with a faint blue light, and the air is filled with the sound of distant music. The villagers believe that the hill is a place of magic, watched over by the spirits of the land and water. It is here, near the base of the hill, that the water leaper is said to dwell. The creature is rarely seen, but its presence is felt in the gentle ripples that move across the surface of the river, in the sudden splash of a fish leaping from the water, and in the soft mist that rises at dawn. The water leaper is described as a small, frog-like being, with wide, curious eyes and a body that shimmers like the surface of a pond. Its legs are strong and springy, allowing it to leap great distances from one bank to the other. Its skin is cool and smooth, colored in shades of green and blue that blend perfectly with the water and reeds. The villagers say that the water leaper is a friend to those who treat the river kindly. It helps lost travelers find their way, guiding them with gentle splashes and the glimmer of moonlight on water. Fishermen who show respect for the river's bounty are rewarded with good catches, while those who are greedy or careless find their nets empty. Children who play by the river's edge sometimes catch a glimpse of the water leaper, watching from beneath a lily pad or darting through the shallows. They wave and call out greetings, and the creature responds with a cheerful splash before vanishing into the depths. The water leaper is shy but not afraid, and it seems to delight in the laughter and joy of the village. On misty mornings, when the world is quiet and the river is wrapped in a silver veil, the villagers leave small offerings on the bank, a handful of wildflowers, a piece of bread, or a shiny pebble. These gifts are tokens of gratitude, a way of honoring the spirit of the water and asking for its continued blessing. The water leaper accepts these offerings with quiet pleasure, and the river remains clear and full of life. There are stories of travelers who have lost their way in the hills, only to be guided home by the water leaper. They speak of following a trail of wet footprints, or hearing the sound of gentle splashing that leads them safely back to the village. Some say that, in times of drought, the water leaper calls the rain, leaping high into the sky to bring down the clouds. Others believe that the creature can heal wounds and ease pain, its touch as cool and soothing as the river itself. The legend of the kindly water leaper is a story of harmony and respect, a reminder that the world is full of gentle wonders for those who know how to look. The villagers teach their children to care for the river, to listen to its songs, and to honor the creatures who call it home. In return, the river provides for all, its waters flowing clear and sweet through the heart of the land. As the day draws to a close, the village gathers by the riverbank to share a meal and tell stories. The air is filled with the scent of roasting fish and fresh herbs, and the sound of laughter drifts across the water. The elders speak of the water leaper, their voices soft and full of wonder. The children listen with wide eyes, imagining the creature leaping through the moonlit mist, its eyes shining with kindness. As night falls, the river glows with the reflection of the stars, and the village settles into peaceful sleep. The water leaper keeps its watch, moving silently through the reeds and shallows, its presence a gentle blessing for all who live beside the water. In the quiet hours before dawn, the creature leaps from bank to bank, its movements as graceful as a song. The world is still, and the only sound is the soft murmur of the river as it winds its way through the hills. The kindly water leaper is a guardian of peace, a symbol of the bond between people and the land they call home. Its story is a gentle reminder that kindness and respect can bring harmony to even the wildest places, and that the greatest magic is often found in the simplest acts of care. As you drift toward sleep, let your mind wander along the banks of the river, listening to the soft splash of water and the distant call of an owl. Imagine the water leaper moving through the mist, its eyes bright with curiosity and its heart full of gentle wisdom. The world of medieval myth is rich with such stories, each one a thread in the tapestry of the past. The kindly water leaper leaps on, its legend carried by the river and the wind, a quiet blessing for all who believe in the gentle magic of the world. As the first light of morning touches the hills, the village wakes to a new day, the river sparkling in the sun. The water leaper slips beneath the surface, content to watch and wait, its story ready to be told again to those who listen with open hearts. May your dreams be filled with the cool touch of water, the laughter of children, and the gentle wonder of a world where even the smallest creature can bring hope and joy. The river is not only a source of life for the village, but also a place of gathering and celebration. In the spring, when the snow melts from the distant mountains and the river swells with fresh water, the villagers hold a festival to honor the spirit of the stream. They decorate the banks with garlands of flowers and float small boats made of leaves and twigs, each carrying a candle to light the way for the water leaper. The children sing songs and dance along the shore, their voices rising in joyful harmony. With the bubbling current, the elders tell stories of years when the river ran low, and how the water leaper was seen leaping high into the air, calling the rain with its song. The people remember how, after such sightings, the clouds would gather and gentle showers would fall, filling the wells and ponds and bringing new life to the fields. The villagers give thanks for the kindness of the water leaper and promise to care for the river in return. In the quiet of the evening, as the festival draws to a close, the villagers gather around a great fire on the riverbank. They share bread and cheese, roasted fish and sweet cakes, passing the food from hand to hand in a circle of friendship. The fire crackles and sparks rise into the night, mingling with the stars above. The children grow sleepy, their heads nodding, as they listen to the soft murmur of the river and the gentle stories of the water leaper. The parents carry them home, tucking them into warm beds with a kiss and a whispered blessing. The river flows on, its waters cool and deep, carrying the dreams of the village to the distant sea. The water leaper moves through the reeds, watching over the sleeping cottages, its heart full of quiet joy. In the days that follow, the villagers go about their work with a sense of peace. The fishermen cast their nets with care, taking only what they need and returning the smallest fish to the water. The women wash clothes at the river's edge, their laughter mingling with the splash of water and the songs of birds. The children play in the shallows, building boats from bark and racing them downstream, their shouts echoing across the fields. The water leaper is never far away, its presence felt in every ripple and every breeze. The legend of the kindly water leaper is a story of balance and gratitude, a reminder that the world is full of gentle wonders for those who know how to look. The villagers teach their children to care for the river, to listen to its songs, and to honor the creatures who call it home. In return, the river provides for all, its waters flowing clear and sweet through the heart of the land. As the sun sets and the shadows lengthen, the village gathers once more by the riverbank. The elders speak of the water leaper, their voices soft and full of wonder. The children listen with wide eyes, imagining the creature leaping through the moonlit mist, its eyes shining with kindness. The river glows with the reflection of the stars, and the village settles into peaceful sleep. The water leaper keeps its watch, moving silently through the reeds and shallows, its presence a gentle blessing for all who live beside the water. In the quiet hours before dawn, the creature leaps from bank to bank, its movements as graceful as a song. The world is still, and the only sound is the soft murmur of the river as it winds its way through the hills. The kindly water leaper is a guardian of peace, a symbol of the bond between people and the land they call home. Its story is a gentle reminder that kindness and respect can bring harmony to even the wildest places, and that the greatest magic is often found in the simplest acts of care. As you drift toward sleep, let your mind wander along the banks of the river, listening to the soft splash of water and the distant call of an owl. Imagine the water leaper moving through the mist, its eyes bright with curiosity and its heart full of gentle wisdom. The world of medieval myth is rich with such stories, each one a thread in the tapestry of the past. The kindly water leaper leaps on, its legend carried by the river and the wind, a quiet blessing for all who believe in the gentle magic of the world. As the first light of morning touches the hills, the village wakes to a new day, the river sparkling in the sun, The water leaper slips beneath the surface, content to watch and wait, its story ready to be told again to those who listen with open hearts. May your dreams be filled with the cool touch of water, the laughter of children, and the gentle wonder of a world where even the smallest creature can bring hope and joy. As the gentle days of spring give way to the warmth of early summer, the village finds itself wrapped in the golden glow of long afternoons and the soft hum of bees drifting from blossom to blossom. The fields are green and full of promise, and the air is sweet with the scent of wildflowers and fresh bread. In this peaceful time, the people of the village turn their thoughts to the simple joys of daily life, and to the quiet wonders that sometimes visit them in the most unexpected ways. Tonight, our story is not of knights or mysterious creatures, but of a humble baker and a dream that changed the fortunes of an entire village. This is the legend of the baker's dream and the bread of luck. In the heart of the village stands a small stone bakery, its walls warm from the heat of the oven and its windows always fogged with the steam of rising dough. The baker, a gentle soul named Oswin, is known to all. He rises before dawn each day, his hands already dusted with flour as he kneads the dough for the morning loaves. Oswin's bread is simple but beloved, its crust golden and its crumbs soft, filling the air with a scent that draws villagers from their beds and children from their dreams. Oswin lives a quiet life, content with his work and the steady rhythm of the days. He is not a wealthy man, but he is generous, always setting aside a loaf for those in need and sharing his crusts with the birds that gather at his door. The villagers trust him, and his bakery is a place of comfort and laughter, where news is shared and worries are eased over a warm slice of bread. One night, as Oswin sleeps beside the embers of his hearth, he has a dream unlike any he has known before. In his dream, he stands in a field of golden wheat, the stalks swaying gently in a breeze that carries the scent of honey and wild thyme. The sky above is bright and clear, and the sun bathes the world in a soft, golden light. As Oswin looks around, he sees a figure approaching a woman dressed in a cloak of green leaves, her hair crowned with flowers. She smiles at him and holds out her hands, which are filled with grains of wheat that shimmer like tiny stars. "Oswin," she says, in a voice as gentle as the wind, "you have given much to others, and now it is your turn to receive. Take these grains and bake them into bread. Share it with your village, and good fortune will follow." Oswin wakes with the memory of the dream still fresh in his mind. He rises before the sun, his heart full of wonder and a sense of quiet purpose. He goes to his storeroom and finds, to his amazement, a small sack of wheat he does not remember having. The grains are golden and perfect, just as in his dream. He grinds the wheat by hand, mixing it with water and a pinch of salt, and kneads the dough with care. As the bread bakes, the scent that fills the bakery is richer and sweeter than any he has known. When the loaves are done, their crusts are a deep, shining gold, and their warmth seems to fill the entire room. Oswin shares the bread with his neighbors, giving a loaf to each family and saving a few slices for the children who come to watch him work. The villagers eat the bread with delight, marveling at its flavor and the way it seems to lift their spirits that day. Small wonders begin to happen throughout the village. The blacksmith finds that his fire burns hotter, and his iron shapes more easily. The shepherd's flock returns safely from the hills, each lamb accounted for. The well, which had been running low, fills with clear, sweet water. The children laugh and play, their cheeks rosy and their eyes bright. The villagers begin to speak of the bread as magical, a gift that has brought luck and happiness to all. Oswin, humble as ever, simply smiles and continues his work, grateful for the joy he sees around him. As the days pass, the good fortune continues. The crops grow tall and strong, the weather is fair, and the village prospers. People come from neighboring towns to taste Oswin's bread, and the bakery becomes a place of gathering and celebration. Oswin never forgets the dream that started it all, and each night he gives thanks for the gift he was given. He continues to share his bread with all who come, never asking for more than a kind word or a smile in return. The legend of the baker's dream and the bread of luck spreads far and wide, and soon other bakers begin to tell their own stories of dreams and magical grains. Some say that the woman in the green cloak is a spirit of the fields, a guardian of the harvest who rewards those who are generous and kind. Others believe that the bread itself is enchanted, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of all who eat it. The villagers, for their part, simply enjoy the happiness that has come to their home, and they honor Oswin with songs and stories at every festival. In the evenings, as the sun sets and the sky turns to gold, the villagers gather outside the bakery to share a meal and give thanks for their good fortune. They sing songs of gratitude and tell stories of the day's blessings, their voices rising. In joyful harmony, the children dance in the square, their laughter echoing through the village, while the elders sit by the fire and remember the days before the bread of luck. Oswin sits quietly among them, his heart full of peace. He knows that true magic is found not in dreams or enchanted grains, but in the kindness and generosity that bind a community together. He continues to bake his bread each day, sharing it with all who come, and the village flourishes in the warmth of his gentle spirit. As the years pass, the story of the baker's dream becomes a cherished part of village life. Parents tell it to their children as they tuck them into bed, and travelers carry it with them as they journey to distant lands. The bakery remains a place of comfort and joy, its doors always open and its shelves always full. The bread of luck is remembered not just for the fortune it brought, but for the way it brought people together, reminding them of the power of kindness and the simple pleasures of a shared meal. On quiet nights, when the moon is high and the stars shine bright, Oswin sometimes dreams again of the woman in the green cloak. She smiles at him and thanks him for his generosity, her voice as soft as the wind in the wheat. Oswin wakes with a sense of peace, knowing that he has done his part to bring happiness to his village. The legend of the baker's dream and the bread of luck endures, a gentle reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can change the world. As you drift toward sleep, let your mind wander to the warm, golden bakery, the scent of fresh bread in the air, and the laughter of friends gathered together in the soft light of evening. May your dreams be filled with the sweetness of simple joys and the quiet magic of a generous heart. The seasons turn, and the village continues to thrive. Each year, at the harvest festival, the villagers bake a special loaf in honor of Oswin and the dream that brought them luck. They decorate the bread with patterns of wheat and flowers and share it with all who come to celebrate. The festival is a time of joy and gratitude, a chance to remember the blessings of the past and to look forward to the promise of the future. The children run through the fields, their arms full of wildflowers, while the adults gather to share stories and songs. The air is filled with music and laughter, and the village glows with the light of 100 lanterns. As the night deepens and the stars appear, the villagers gather around the fire to share the last slices of bread and to give thanks for the happiness they have found. The story of the baker's dream is told once more, its gentle message carried on the night breeze. In the quiet that follows, the village sleeps in peace, wrapped in the warmth of friendship and the promise of another golden morning. May your own dreams be as sweet and comforting as the bread of luck, and may you wake to a world filled with kindness and hope. The bakery itself becomes a symbol of hope and unity. On rainy days, villagers gather inside, warming their hands by the oven and sharing stories while the storm rages outside. On market days, Oswin's bread is the first to sell, and people from distant villages come to taste the legendary loaves. Children peek through the windows to watch the dough rise, their faces pressed against the glass, eyes wide with wonder. Oswin teaches the children how to knead and shape the dough, passing on his knowledge with patience and a smile. He tells them that the secret to good bread is not just in the ingredients, but in the care and love with which it is made. The children listen closely, eager to learn, and soon the village is filled with the scent of fresh bread from every home. As the years go by, Oswin grows older, but his spirit remains as warm as his oven. He continues to bake each day, his hands steady and sure, his heart full of gratitude for the life he has lived. The villagers care for him as he has cared for them, bringing him gifts of honey and fruit, and sitting with him by the fire to share stories of the past. When Oswin's time comes to rest, the village mourns his passing, but they celebrate his life with a great feast, baking loaves in his honor and sharing them with all who come. The legend of the baker's dream lives on, a gentle reminder that kindness, generosity, and the simple act of sharing can bring light to even the darkest days. And so, as you drift into sleep, let the warmth of the bakery and the sweetness of the bread fill your dreams. May you find comfort in the gentle magic of a generous heart, and may you wake to a world where kindness is always in abundance. As the seasons turn and the village basks in the gentle warmth of summer, the days grow long and the nights are filled with the soft glow of lanterns and the distant song of nightingales. The fields are heavy with ripening grain, and the air is alive with the hum of insects and the laughter of children playing beneath the wide blue sky. In this peaceful time, the villagers find comfort in the familiar rhythms of daily life, yet they also look to the horizon for signs and wonders. For the world is full of mysteries that reveal themselves in the quiet hours of dusk and dawn. Tonight, our story is one of gentle light and quiet guidance, a legend that has brought hope to generations. This is the tale of the Lantern of St. Kennel. In a small village, nestled at the edge of a great forest, the people live in harmony with the land and the changing seasons. The village is surrounded by rolling hills and ancient trees, their branches reaching skyward as if in prayer. At the heart of the village stands a simple stone church, its bell tower rising above the rooftops, and its doors always open to those seeking comfort or counsel. The villagers are a close-knit community, bound together by shared work and shared joys. They tend their gardens, care for their animals, and gather each evening to share stories and songs by the fire. Among the many tales told in the village, none is more cherished than the legend of the Lantern of St. Kenelm. It is said that, many years ago, a young boy named Kenelm lived in a distant kingdom. He was known for his kindness and gentle spirit, and he loved to wander the fields and forests, listening to the songs of birds and the whisper of the wind in the trees. Kenelm was a prince, but he cared little for riches or power. Instead, he sought to help those in need, sharing his food with the hungry and his cloak with the cold. One day, as Kenelm walked through a deep wood, he lost his way. The sun set behind the trees, and darkness fell quickly, wrapping the forest in shadows. Kenelm was not afraid, for he trusted in the goodness of the world, but he knew he must find shelter before night grew too deep. As he wandered, he saw a soft light shining through the trees. It was a lantern, glowing with a gentle golden flame that seemed to float in the air. Kenelm followed the light, and it led him to a small clearing where a humble cottage stood. The door was open, and the warmth of a fire beckoned him inside. An old woman greeted him, her eyes kind and her voice soft. She offered him bread and milk and a place to rest by the hearth. Kenelm thanked her and soon fell into a peaceful sleep, the lantern's light shining softly at the window. In the morning, Kenelm awoke to find the old woman gone and the cottage empty. But the lantern remained, its flame still burning bright. He took the lantern with him as he made his way home, and from that day forward, he carried it wherever he went. The lantern became a symbol of hope and guidance, its light leading Kenelm through many trials and adventures. When Kenelm grew older, he became known as a saint, and stories of his kindness and the miraculous lantern spread far and wide. It was said that the lantern could never be extinguished, and that its light would always guide the lost and comfort the weary. In time, the lantern was passed down through generations, its flame burning in the hearts of all who heard the story. In the village at the edge of the forest, the legend of St. Kenelm's lantern became a cherished part of life. On misty nights, when the paths through the woods were hard to see and the wind howled through the trees, the villagers would look for the gentle glow of the lantern. Some claimed to have seen it floating among the branches, its light shining like a star in the darkness. Others spoke of following the lantern's glow to safety when they had lost their way, or of finding comfort in its warmth when they felt alone. The children of the village loved to hear the story of St. Kenelm and his lantern. They would gather around the fire, their eyes wide with wonder, as the elders told of the boy who brought light to the darkest places. The children imagined themselves wandering through the woods, guided by the gentle flame, their fears melting away in the lantern's glow. On special nights, the villagers would hold a festival in honor of St. Kenelm. They would hang lanterns from the trees and line the paths with candles, their flames flickering in the summer breeze. The village would be transformed into a sea of light, each lantern a symbol of hope and guidance. The people would sing songs of gratitude and share stories of times when the lantern's light had brought them comfort or led them home. The festival was a time of joy and togetherness, a celebration of the gentle magic that bound the village together. As the night deepened and the lanterns burned low, the villagers would gather in the church to offer prayers of thanks. They would light a single candle on the altar, its flame a reminder of the lantern that had guided St. Kenelm and all who followed in his footsteps. The church would be filled with the soft glow of candlelight, and the air would be thick with the scent of beeswax and wildflowers. The villagers would sit in silence, their hearts full of peace as the gentle light washed over them. In the quiet that followed, the village would sleep in safety, the lantern's glow lingering in their dreams. The legend of the Lantern of St. Kenelm is a story of hope and guidance, a reminder that even in the darkest times, a gentle light can lead the way. The villagers teach their children to look for the lantern's glow, not just in the woods, but in the kindness of friends and the warmth of home. They remind each other that the light of hope can be found in the smallest acts of generosity and the quietest moments of comfort. As the years pass, the story of St. Kenelm and his lantern becomes woven into the fabric of village life. The lantern is remembered not just as a miraculous object, but as a symbol of the light that lives in every heart. The villagers carry the story with them as they go about their days, finding strength in its gentle message. On stormy nights, when the wind rattles the windows and the rain beats against the roof, the villagers gather together, lighting candles and sharing stories of the lantern's glow. They find comfort in the warmth of the fire and the company of friends, knowing that the light of hope will always see them through. The children fall asleep to the sound of the rain, dreaming of lanterns floating through the woods and the gentle hand of St. Kenelm guiding them home. In the quiet hours before dawn, when the world is still and the only sound is the soft breathing of those who sleep, the lantern's light shines brightest. It glows in the hearts of the villagers, a beacon of hope and comfort that never fades. The legend of the Lantern of St. Kenelm endures, a gentle reminder that even the smallest light can dispel the deepest darkness. As you drift toward sleep, let your mind wander to the quiet village at the edge of the forest, the soft glow of lanterns lighting the way, and the gentle spirit of St. Kenelm watching over all who wander. May your dreams be filled with the warmth of hope and the gentle light of kindness, guiding you safely through the night and into the promise of a new day. The Festival of Lanterns becomes a cherished tradition, celebrated each year as the days grow long and the nights are filled with the scent of blooming flowers. The villagers prepare for the festival with great care, crafting lanterns from colored glass and delicate paper, each one unique and beautiful. The children help to hang the lanterns from the trees, their laughter echoing through the village. As the sun sets and the first stars appear, the paths are lined with candles, their flames dancing in the evening breeze, and the village is transformed into a world of light and wonder. The elders tell stories of St. Kenelm and his lantern, their voices soft and full of reverence. They speak of the times when the lantern's glow has brought comfort to the lost and hope to the weary. The villagers listen in silence, their hearts full of gratitude for the gentle magic that surrounds them. As the night deepens, the festival reaches its peak. The villagers gather in the square, holding their lanterns high as they sing songs of hope and joy. The light of the lanterns mingles with the stars above, and for a moment the village seems to float in a sea of gentle radiance. The children dance in circles, their faces aglow with happiness, while the adults share stories and laughter, their worries forgotten in the warmth of the light. When the festival draws to a close, the villagers carry their lanterns home, placing them in their windows as a sign of welcome to all who pass by. The village glows softly through the night, each lantern a promise of hope and kindness. The legend of the Lantern of St. Kenelm lives on, a gentle light that guides the way through darkness and brings comfort to all who believe. As you drift into sleep, let the glow of the lanterns fill your dreams, and may you always find your way home by their gentle light. The lantern story is not only told at festivals, but also in the quiet moments of everyday life. When a child is frightened by a storm, a parent will light a small candle and tell the story of St. Kenelm's lantern, reminding them that even in the darkest night, there is always a light to guide them. When a traveler returns home after a long journey, the villagers place a lantern in the window, its glow a sign of welcome and safety. The lantern becomes a symbol of hope in times of trouble, a reminder that no one is ever truly alone. The story is passed from generation to generation, each telling adding new details and gentle wisdom. Some say that on the longest night of the year, St. Kenelm himself walks the paths of the village, his lantern shining bright to guide lost souls home. Others believe that the lantern's light can heal sorrow and bring peace to troubled hearts. The villagers cherish these stories, finding comfort in their gentle magic. As the years go by, the village changes and grows, but the legend of the Lantern of St. Kenelm remains a constant source of hope and inspiration. The church bell still rings out across the fields, calling the villagers to gather and give thanks for the light that guides them. The lanterns still glow in the windows, their flames a promise of kindness and welcome. The children still dream of wandering through the woods, guided by the gentle light of St. Kenelm's lantern. And so, as you drift into sleep, let the warmth of the lantern's glow fill your heart with peace. May you find comfort in the gentle light that guides you through the darkness, and may you wake to a world filled with hope and kindness. As the gentle glow of lanterns fades and the village settles into the quiet of night, another story stirs in the shadows, a tale whispered by grandmothers to children as they drift toward sleep. This is the legend of the cat who walked between worlds, a story that weaves through the heart of the village like a soft, silken thread, connecting the ordinary with the magical, the waking world with the realm of dreams. In the village, cats are a common sight. They slip through gardens and along stone walls, their eyes bright in the moonlight, their movements silent and sure. The villagers welcome them, for cats keep the mice from the grain stores and bring a sense of comfort to every home. But there is one cat, it is said, who is not quite like the others. She is called Miri, and her fur is as black as midnight, her eyes as green as new leaves in spring. Miri appears when she is needed most, slipping through open doors and curling up beside those who are lonely or afraid. Some say she is a spirit, a guardian sent to watch over the village. Others believe she is simply a clever cat, wise beyond her years. But all agree that Miri brings a sense of peace wherever she goes. The story of Miri begins on a night much like this one, when the wind rattled the shutters and the moon hid behind a veil of clouds. In a small cottage at the edge of the village, a young girl named Ellen lay awake, her mind troubled by worries she could not name. Her mother had fallen ill, and the days had grown long and heavy with silence. Ellen missed the sound of her mother's laughter, the warmth of her embrace. She wished for comfort, for a sign that all would be well. As she lay in bed, listening to the soft patter of rain on the roof, Ellen heard a gentle meow at the window. She rose and opened the shutters, and there, perched on the sill, was Miri. The cat slipped inside, her fur glistening with raindrops, and leaped onto Ellen's bed. She curled up beside the girl, purring softly, and Ellen felt her worries begin to melt away. That night, Ellen dreamed of a garden filled with light, where her mother walked among the flowers, her face bright with health and happiness. When Ellen awoke, Miri was gone, but the sense of peace remained. Her mother's illness soon passed, and Ellen never forgot the comfort the cat had brought her. Word of Miri's kindness spread through the village, and soon others began to notice her gentle presence. She appeared at the door of a widow who had lost her husband, curling up in his empty chair and filling the house with warmth. She sat beside a boy who was afraid of the dark, her eyes shining like lanterns in the night, and he found the courage to sleep without fear. Miri visited the baker when his bread failed to rise, the shepherd when a lamb was lost, the old man who could no longer walk to the well. Each time she brought a sense of calm, a quiet reassurance that all would be well. The villagers began to leave small gifts for Miri, bowls of cream, scraps of fish, a soft blanket by the hearth. They spoke of her in hushed tones, grateful for the comfort she brought. Some said that Miri could walk between worlds, slipping through the veil that separates the living from the spirits, the waking from the dreaming. They believed she carried messages from loved ones who had passed or brought dreams of hope to those in need. On certain nights, when the moon was full and the air was thick with the scent of jasmine, the villagers would see Miri sitting on the church wall, her eyes fixed on something only she could see. They wondered if she was watching over them, or perhaps waiting for a sign from the world beyond. The children loved to imagine where Miri went when she disappeared for days at a time. Some said she visited distant lands, walking along moonlit roads and through enchanted forests. Others believed she climbed to the top of the tallest tree and spoke with the stars. A few whispered that she could slip through cracks in the world, finding her way to places where dreams are born and wishes come true. One autumn evening, as the leaves turned gold and the air grew crisp, a great storm swept through the village. The wind howled and the rain fell in sheets, flooding the fields and sending the animals to shelter. In the midst of the storm, a fire broke out in the mill at the edge of the village. The villagers rushed to help, forming a line to carry water from the well. The flames leaped high, threatening to consume the mill and the grain stored within. As the villagers worked, they saw Miri darting through the smoke, her black fur gleaming in the firelight. She leaped onto the roof, her cries cutting through the roar of the flames. The villagers followed her gaze and saw that a family of kittens was trapped in the loft. With Miri's help, they rescued the kittens, carrying them to safety just as the roof collapsed. When the fire was finally out, the villagers gathered in the square, grateful for Miri's courage and quick thinking. They praised her as a hero, and from that day on, the miller kept a bowl of cream by the door, a token of thanks for the cat who had saved his family. As the years passed, Miri continued to walk between worlds, appearing when she was needed and vanishing when her work was done. The villagers came to see her as a symbol of hope and resilience, a reminder that even in the darkest times, a gentle presence can bring light and comfort. They told her story to their children, who told it to their children in turn, until Miri became a legend woven into the fabric of village life. On winter nights, when the wind howled and the snow fell thick and fast, the villagers would gather by the fire and share stories of Miri's adventures. They spoke of the time she led a lost traveler home through the fog, her eyes shining like beacons in the night. They remembered how she comforted a grieving mother, curling up beside her and purring until the tears stopped. They laughed at tales of Miri stealing fish from the market or chasing her own tail in the sunlight. Each story was a thread in the tapestry of the village, a reminder that kindness and courage can be found in the most unexpected places. As you drift toward sleep, let your mind wander with Miri as she slips through the shadows, her paws silent on the cobblestones, her eyes bright with curiosity. Imagine her walking along the rooftops, watching over the village as it sleeps, her heart full of gentle wisdom. May your dreams be filled with the comfort of her presence, and may you wake to a world where kindness is always close at hand. The legend of the cat who walked between worlds endures, a gentle reminder that the boundaries between the ordinary and the magical are thinner than we think. In every village, in every home, there is room for a little wonder, a little hope, and a little magic. And sometimes, all it takes is the soft touch of a cat's paw, the warmth of her purr to remind us that we are never truly alone. As the night deepens and the stars wheel overhead, Miri slips away into the shadows, her work done for now. But the villagers know she will return when she is needed, bringing comfort and courage to all who call her name. And so, as you drift into sleep, let the story of Miri wrap around you like a soft blanket, soothing and warm. May you find peace in the gentle magic of her presence, and may your dreams be filled with hope and wonder, tonight and always. The story of Miri grows with each telling, and new adventures are added as the years go by. Some say that Miri once saved the village from a terrible drought, leading the villagers to a hidden spring deep in the woods. Others tell of a night when Miri sat on the church roof and sang a song so sweet that the stars themselves seemed to draw closer, bathing the village in silver light. There are tales of Miri comforting a child who had lost her way in the forest, guiding her home with gentle nudges and soft purrs. The villagers believe that Miri can sense when someone is in need, and that she will always find a way to help. On festival days, the children make garlands of flowers and drape them over the stone walls, hoping to catch a glimpse of Miri as she passes by. They leave small gifts for her, shiny pebbles, feathers, and bits of ribbon, tokens of gratitude for the comfort she brings. The elders say that as long as Miri walks the village, no harm will come to those who live there. The legend of the cat who walked between worlds is a story of hope and resilience, a reminder that even the smallest creature can make a difference. It teaches that kindness and courage are gifts to be shared, and that the bonds of love and friendship can bridge any distance, even between worlds. As you close your eyes and drift into sleep, let the gentle spirit of Miri guide your dreams. May you find comfort in her presence, and may you wake to a world filled with wonder and possibility. Asterisk. As the days grow shorter and the first hints of autumn color the leaves, the village settles into a slower, softer rhythm. The air is crisp in the mornings, and the fields are touched with gold as the harvest approaches. In this season of change, the villagers find comfort in the familiar and the timeless, in the stories that have been told for generations. Tonight, our story is one of quiet wonder, a legend that begins not in the bustling heart of the village, but in the wide open hills, where a solitary shepherd tends his flock. This is the tale of the shepherd and the singing stones. Beyond the last cottage, where the land rises gently toward the sky, a shepherd named Emrys spends his days and nights with his sheep. Emrys is a quiet man, content with the company of his animals and the endless sky above. He knows every hollow and hillock, every twist in the stream, and every patch of wildflowers that bloom in the meadows. His flock is his family, and he cares for them with a gentle hand and a watchful eye. The hills are peaceful, but they are also full of secrets. Scattered across the grass are ancient stones, some standing tall and straight, others half buried and worn smooth by centuries of wind and rain. The villagers say the stones are older than memory, placed there by giants or left behind by the first people to walk the land. Emrys has always felt a quiet respect for the stones, greeting them each morning as he leads his sheep to pasture. One evening, as the sun sets behind the hills and the sky is painted with shades of pink and gold, Emrys hears a sound unlike any he has known. It is a soft, melodic hum, rising and falling with the breeze. At first, he thinks it is the wind in the grass, but as he listens, he realizes the sound is coming from the stones themselves. He sits quietly, his flock grazing nearby, and lets the music wash over him. The song is gentle and haunting, full of longing and hope, and Emrys feels his heart grow light. Night after night, Emrys returns to the stones, listening to their song. As the stars appear overhead, sometimes the music is bright and joyful, like the laughter of children. Other times it is slow and mournful, like a lullaby for the weary. Emrys finds comfort in the song, and soon he begins to notice changes in the world around him. His sheep are healthier and more content, their wool thick and soft. The grass grows greener, and the wildflowers bloom in abundance. The streams run clear and cold, and the air is filled with the scent of heather and thyme. Emrys shares his secret with no one, but the villagers notice the change in him. He smiles more often, and his eyes are bright with a quiet joy. The children follow him to the edge of the hills, hoping to hear the music for themselves, but the stones remain silent in their presence. Only Emrys, it seems, can hear their song. As the weeks pass, Emrys begins to wonder about the source of the music. One night, as the moon rises full and bright, he sits among the stones and closes his eyes. He lets the song fill his mind, and soon he finds himself drifting into a dream. In his dream, he sees the stones as they once were, standing in a great circle, their surfaces carved with strange symbols and patterns. People gather around them, singing and dancing, their voices rising in harmony with the stones. The air is alive with magic, and Emrys feels a deep sense of belonging. When he wakes, the song lingers in his ears, and he knows he has been given a gift. Emrys decides to share the gift with the village. On the night of the harvest moon, he invites the villagers to join him in the hills. They bring lanterns and baskets of food, and together they sit among the stones, listening to the wind and the quiet hum of the earth. Emrys plays his flute, and the music blends with the song of the stones, creating a melody that fills the night. With wonder, the villagers are moved by the beauty of the moment, and they give thanks for the blessings of the land. From that night on, the villagers make a tradition of gathering at the stones each autumn. They bring their instruments and their voices, singing songs of gratitude and hope. The children dance in the moonlight, their laughter echoing across the hills. The elders tell stories of the old days when the stones were new and the world was full of magic. The song of the stones becomes a part of village life, a gentle reminder of the connection between people and the land. Emrys continues to tend his flock, but he is never lonely. He knows that the stones are always there, singing their song of comfort and peace. He teaches the children to listen, to sit quietly, and let the music find them. Some say that on certain nights, the stones sing more loudly, their voices rising in joy or sorrow. Others believe that the song is a message from the past, a memory of those who came before. The legend of the shepherd and the singing stones endures, a story of wonder and gratitude, of the magic that lives in the quiet places of the world. As you drift toward sleep, let your mind wander to the hills, where the grass is soft and the stars shine bright. Imagine the gentle song of the stones, a melody that soothes your heart and fills your dreams with peace. May you find comfort in the music of the earth, and may you wake to a world filled with wonder and hope. The tradition of gathering at the stones continues for generations. Each year, as the leaves turn and the air grows cool, the villagers climb the hills to celebrate the harvest and to listen for the song. They bring offerings of bread and fruit, laying them at the base of the stones as a sign of respect. The children weave garlands of flowers and drape them over the ancient rocks, their laughter mingling with the music of the night. Teach the young ones to listen with their hearts, to be patient and open to the magic that surrounds them. Some years, the song is strong and clear, filling the air with joy. Other years, it is faint and distant, a gentle whisper on the wind. But always, the villagers leave the hills with a sense of peace, their spirits lifted by the beauty of the moment. Emrys grows old, but his love for the stones never fades. He spends his days among the hills, tending his flock and listening to the music of the earth. When his time comes to rest, the villagers gather to honor him, singing the song of the stones in his memory. They remember him as a gentle soul, a shepherd who found magic in the quiet places of the world. The legend of the shepherd and the singing stones is passed down through the generations, a story of hope and gratitude, of the power of music to heal and unite. As you close your eyes and drift into sleep, let the song of the stones fill your dreams. May you find comfort in their melody, and may you wake to a world where wonder is always close at hand. The stones themselves become a place of pilgrimage, not just for the villagers, but for travelers from distant lands. Word spreads of the singing stones and the peace they bring, and people come to sit among them, hoping to hear the music for themselves. Some bring instruments and add their own notes to the song, while others simply sit in silence, letting the melody wash over them. The stones become a symbol of unity, a place where all are welcome, regardless of where they come from or what burdens they carry. The villagers welcome the travelers, sharing their food and their stories, and the gatherings grow larger each year. The song of the stones weaves through every heart, binding the people together in a tapestry of hope and gratitude. As the years pass, the legend of the shepherd and the singing stones grows, its message spreading far beyond the hills. It becomes a story told by firesides and in market squares, a gentle reminder that magic can be found in the quietest places, and that the earth itself sings a song of comfort to those who listen. And so, as you drift into sleep, let the music of the stones carry you into dreams of peace and wonder, and may you wake to a world where the song never ends. Asterisk. As the last leaves of autumn fall and the air grows crisp with the promise of winter, the village prepares for the quiet season ahead. The fields are bare, the harvest safely stored, and the days grow shorter as the sun slips lower in the sky. In these long, peaceful nights, the villagers gather by the fire to share stories and dreams, to remember the warmth of summer, and to look forward to the return of spring. Tonight, our story is one of gentle magic and restful hope, a legend that has soothed the hearts of villagers for generations. This is the tale of the well at the end of the lane, at the far edge of the village, where the last cottage stands and the lane turns to a narrow path. There is an old stone well. It is not grand or imposing, but simple and sturdy. Its stones, worn smooth by the hands of countless villagers who have drawn water from its depths. The well is shaded by a great oak tree, its branches spreading wide to shelter the stones and the earth below. In the spring, the tree is alive with birdsong, and in the summer its leaves cast a cool green shadow over the well. In autumn, the ground is carpeted with golden leaves, and in winter, the branches stand bare against the sky, their shapes etched in frost. The well has always been a part of village life. It provides water for drinking and cooking, for washing and for watering the gardens. Children play around its base, their laughter echoing down the lane, and elders sit on the low stone wall, sharing stories and watching the world go by. But there is another story, one that is told only in whispers, when the fire burns low and the night is deep. It is said that the well at the end of the lane is no ordinary well, but a place of gentle magic, a source of dreams and restful sleep. The legend begins long ago, when the village was young and the world was full of wonder. In those days, a wise woman lived in the last cottage, a healer and a keeper of secrets. She tended the sick and comforted the sorrowful, her hands gentle and her heart kind. She was known for her knowledge of herbs and her skill in making potions, but her greatest gift was her understanding of dreams. The wise woman would sit by the well each evening, her basket full of wildflowers, and her eyes bright with wisdom. She would listen to the troubles of the villagers, offering comfort and advice, and sometimes she would draw water from the well and give it to those who could not sleep. "Drink from the well at the end of the lane," she would say, "and your dreams will be sweet and your rest will be deep." The villagers trusted her, and soon the well became known as a place of peace. On Midsummer's Eve, when the days were longest and the air was thick with the scent of roses, the villagers would gather at the well to celebrate the turning of the year. They would bring garlands of flowers and float them on the water, making wishes for the months ahead. The children would dance around the oak tree, their voices rising in song. And the elders would share stories of dreams come true. As the years passed, the wise woman grew old, but her spirit remained at the well. Some say that on quiet nights, her voice can still be heard in the rustle of the leaves, offering comfort to those who seek it. Others believe that her kindness lingers in the water, bringing peace to all who drink from the well. The legend of the well at the end of the lane endures, a gentle reminder that rest and hope are gifts to be cherished. The villagers continue to visit the well, especially in times of trouble or sorrow. They draw water for the sick, for the weary, and for those who have lost their way. They leave offerings of flowers and coins, tokens of gratitude for the peace the well brings. On nights when sleep is hard to find, parents bring their children to the well, dipping cups into the cool, clear water and whispering wishes for sweet dreams. The children drink, their eyes growing heavy, and soon they are carried home, already drifting into gentle slumber. The well becomes a place of gathering, a quiet sanctuary where worries are left behind and hope is renewed. In the heart of winter, when the nights are longest and the world is wrapped in silence, the villagers light lanterns and carry them to the well. They stand together in the cold, their breath rising in clouds, and share stories of dreams and comfort. The lanterns glow softly, their light reflected in the water, and for a moment the darkness is held at bay. The well at the end of the lane is more than a source of water. It is a wellspring of hope, a place where the burdens of the day are washed away and the promise of rest is renewed. The villagers teach their children to care for the well, to keep its stones clean and its water pure. They remind each other that the well is a gift, a gentle magic that must be honored and protected. As the seasons turn and the years pass, the legend of the well grows. Travelers hear of its power and come from distant lands to drink from its depths. Some seek healing, others seek peace, and all find comfort in the quiet magic of the place. The villagers welcome them, sharing the story of the wise woman and the dreams that flow from the well. The well becomes a symbol of the village itself, a place of welcome and kindness, of hope and gentle wonder. As you drift towards sleep, let your mind wander to the well at the end of the lane. Imagine the cool, clear water, the sheltering branches of the oak tree, and the soft murmur of voices sharing dreams and comfort. May you find rest in the gentle magic of the well, and may your dreams be sweet and your heart at peace. The tradition of visiting the well continues for generations. Each year, on Midsummer's Eve, the villagers gather to celebrate the well and the blessings it brings. They decorate the oak tree with ribbons and lanterns, their colors bright against the green leaves. The children make wishes and float them on the water, watching as the ripples carry their hopes into the night. The elders share stories of dreams fulfilled and troubles eased, their voices soft and full of gratitude. The well becomes a place of memory, a link between the past and the future, a reminder that hope endures even in the darkest times. In the quiet of the night, when the village sleeps and the world is still, the well stands as a beacon of peace. The water reflects the stars, and the air is filled with the scent of earth and leaves. The wise woman's spirit lingers, her kindness woven into the stones and the water, her voice a gentle whisper in the wind. The villagers know that, no matter what troubles may come, the well will always be there, a source of comfort and hope. As you close your eyes and drift into sleep, let the story of the well at the end of the lane fill your dreams. May you find rest in its gentle magic, and may you wake to a world where hope and kindness are always close at hand. The legend of the well is passed down through the generations, a story of peace and comfort, of dreams and gentle wonder. It is a reminder that even in the quietest corners of the world, magic can be found, and that the simplest gifts are often the most precious. The well is not only a place for wishes and dreams, but also a place for healing. When someone in the village falls ill, their family draws water from the well and brings it to the healer, who mixes it with herbs and honey to make soothing teas and potions. The villagers believe that the water carries the blessing of the wise woman, and that it can ease pain and bring comfort to the suffering. On cold winter nights, when the wind howls and the snow falls thick and fast, the villagers gather in the last cottage to share warmth and stories. They speak of the well and the dreams it brings, of the times when hope seemed lost and was found again in the gentle magic of the water. The children listen with wide eyes, their imaginations filled with visions of the wise woman and the glowing lanterns, of wishes carried on the wind and dreams that come true. The well becomes a symbol of resilience, a reminder that even in the hardest times, there is always a source of hope. As the years go by, the village changes and grows, but the well remains a constant presence, its water cool and clear, its magic undiminished. New families come to the village, bringing their own hopes and dreams, and they too are welcomed at the well. The tradition of gathering at the well continues, a thread that weaves through the fabric of village life, binding the people together in a tapestry of kindness and hope. On the longest night of the year, when the world is wrapped in darkness and the stars shine bright, the villagers gather at the well to light candles and share their dreams for the future. They sing songs of hope and gratitude, their voices rising into the night, and the well glows with the light of 100 flames. The water reflects the stars, and for a moment, the village is filled with a sense of peace and possibility. The legend of the well at the end of the lane endures, a gentle reminder that hope is always within reach, and that the magic of dreams can be found in the simplest places. As you drift into sleep, let the story of the well fill your heart with peace. May you find comfort in its gentle magic, and may your dreams be sweet and your spirit at rest. The well at the end of the lane stands as a beacon of hope, a place where the burdens of the day are washed away and the promise of rest is renewed. The villagers teach their children to care for the well, to keep its stones clean and its water pure. They remind each other that the well is a gift, a gentle magic that must be honored and protected. And so, as the fire burns low and the night deepens, the village sleeps in peace, the well at the end of the lane standing watch over all who dream.